For this one, we're going to try to do some water. In this middle section, we're going to have a little bit of an ocean coming towards a beach. Since I'm not going to focus much on the sand, I'm just going to kind of fill it in with a generic brown color. For a lot of my elements that I'm trying to show you techniques for, I generally use 3 colors: a shadow color, a middle color, and highlight color. But for water, I found you need generally more than 3. You need at least 5 to make that really smooth liquid transition from the shadow colors to the highlight colors. So I have these 5 colors, and so those are the ones that I'm going to use. I'm not going to have a specific shadow color, but just know that some of them are darker, and that is what I'm going to start with. I'm going to actually start up here at this horizon line. When you're looking far away, especially towards the sun, the water, the horizon line looks almost black. It should be a very, very, very dark blue. And as it comes towards you, you can definitely tell it turns more blue, more green, whatever color the ocean's happening to look that day. I'm choosing a really clear water ocean, so I'm choosing really blue ocean. So you want to overlap some of your colors just to kind of blend them. So I did leave, as you can see, some white spots, and that kind of helps with the blending, because then it helps bring in little pops of that color that you're blending it into. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of going here just in like big blocks of color. You can kind of tell it's like, that doesn't look as blended. Like, you can definitely see that line. What we're going to go to do when we finally get like our different levels, we're going to go back and kind of blend those. So next we're going to do, my next light is blue. I'm just going to keep blocking this color out. And I'm going to do my lightest ocean color. Well, that doesn't look very much like an ocean yet, but very closer. So we're going to go back to our darkest color, and we're going to do, you can either, if you're painting, go to a smaller brush. This has a real fine tip instead of a brush tip. And you're actually just going to kind of do short little lines here and there. Remember also, we're going to keep moving the color back up about 1/3 of the way into the other color so that it blends and you see both colors together. So granted, this isn't the smoothest blend, but I think it's good enough for right now to kind of get the idea across. If you keep doing that, kind of going again and again, you'll get a smoother transition. And obviously, if you have more colors, your sections will be smaller and you'll be able to see less of these stripes, and it'll look more uniform and blending. So now I'm going to kind of start doing some of those waves that I was talking about. Each wave is in itself like its own element, and so we want each tiny little wave to have a shadow, a middle color, and then a highlight. So this is going to be your shadow, this is your middle color, and then whatever this last color is will be your highlight. Or if you've got pure white, that tends to be a little bit easier to use for your highlight because it'll really pop. So like I said, I'm getting my color for the waves, my shadow color. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do 1 wave, 2 wave, and then maybe a start of a 3rd wave as they're kind of coming in from like a tide. And then I'm going to have some really big white crests or something right there down. So I'm just going to kind of do some really short lines like this where I want the wave, and I know the white area is going to kind of go right about there. So I'm just kind of going where I think the bottom of the wave will be. And it's going to kind of go this way because they kind of go at an angle like that. So that's what I'm going to kind of draw for my wave. Now here is the middle color. It's the same as that mint green, but this is just going to kind of help make it shape. I'm actually, if you're watching closely, I'm going up and over. I'm not actually going under like I was. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can see my pen, my marker working. I'm actually going to go up and over. What you can also do with your middle color to make it help you conceptualize it is you can draw where the top of the wave is, and like, you know, it's going to end just a little bit over here because that's where it's going to be pure white, and it's going to kind of do this and then fade out. So you can kind of draw out your wave a little bit better like that. So I'm going to go back to my shadow color. I'm going to kind of get that more towards the wave. So I don't have a white marker because, white markers don't cover very well. You really need it to be something that has a little bit less opacity to it. It's not see-through. So I'm actually going to use somewhat of a light gray, just so that you can kind of see where the white would go. And even this is still kind of opaque. I mean, it's hard to see. But I'm going to kind of really put it on thick. I'm actually using the brush instead of the small, just so that you can see where the white would go. And then you can kind of make it a little bit splashy. If you're painting, what I really like to do is I like to get my brush and I'll flick my brush with the paint on it. It kind of has all these little flecks, and those little flecks make really cool water spray. So if you're doing the water spray, it looks really cool if you flick your brush. Works a little bit better with a stiffer brush. If you don't have a very stiff brush, that's okay too. Don't have to do it. And then also you're going to want to kind of blend in some white so that it kind of looks like there's a little bit of waves. You don't want to go past your shadow color of your wave. That's how you do